We're reading today out of Numbers chapter 5, verses 11 to 31. Chapter 5, heading 3, topic 3. Today's lesson will be on the test for an unfaithful wife. Here we go. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, if a man's wife goes astray and is unfaithful to him, so that another man has sexual relations with her, and this is hidden from her husband, and her impurity is undetected, since there is no witness against her, and she has not been caught in the act." Starting verse 14. "And if feelings of jealousy come over her husband, and he suspects his wife and she is impure, or if he is jealous and suspects her even though she is not impure." Verse 15 says, "Then he is to take his wife to the priest. He must also take an offering of 1/10 of an ephah of barley flour on her behalf. Then he must not pour olive oil on it or put incense on it, because it is a grain offering for jealousy, a reminder offering to draw attention to wrongdoing." Verse 16. "The priest shall bring her and have her stand before the Lord." Then here we go with verse 17. Before I get into that, the scholars of this commentary book say, for chapter 5, verse 15, I'm going to read before we get into it though again. I'm going to read it before we get into that context a little bit of the word. So, let's say right there. "Then he is to take his wife to the priest." So that's what this is talking about. Take his wife to the priest. This is what the context is saying in the Bible of Numbers. Determining if a woman had been unfaithful to her husband when she had not been caught in wrongdoing was more difficult than detecting skin diseases. But because God was in the camp, the issue could be resolved by the priest in the presence of God. Again, it reminded the Israelites that nothing was hidden from God. Again, so we're going to go to verse 17 again. "Then he shall take some holy water and a clay jar and put some dust from the tabernacle floor into the water. After the priest has had the woman stand before the Lord, he shall loosen her hair and place in her hands the reminder offering, the grain offering for jealousy, while he himself holds the bitter water that brings a curse." Alright, so let's get into the definition of the context word of this sentence of saying in verse 18, bitter water that brings a curse. So this means this was not a magic potion, but dust from the floor of the tabernacle of holy water. The woman held in her own hands the grain offering for jealousy. These things reminded everyone that they were standing in the presence of God, and that it was He who would determine if the woman bore any guilt. Now we're going to go back to verse 19, which we are starting now. "Then the priest shall put the woman under oath and say to her, if no other man has had sexual relations with you, and you have not gone astray and become impure while married to your husband, may this bitter water that brings a curse not harm you." But if you have gone astray while married to your husband and you have made yourself impure by having sexual relations with a man other than your husband, here the priest is to put the woman under this curse. May the Lord cause you to become a curse among your people, when he makes your womb miscarry and your abdomen swell. Okay, let's get into the verse 21 word about your abdomen swells on your womb. Yeah, your abdomen swells or your womb miscarries. This is from 21. This is what the scholars say from the context. These words speak symbolically of a miscarriage of an illegitimate child. If the woman was pregnant and the inability to conceive again, in the biblical world, a woman who was unable to bear children was regarded as being under a curse. In this case, it would have been true. Okay. May this water that brings a curse enter your body so that you, or in verse 22, keep up with this if you can. May this water that brings a curse enter your body so that your abdomen swells or your womb miscarries. Then the woman is to say, Amen. So be it. Verse 23 says, the priest is to write these curses on a scroll and then wash them off into the bitter water. Verse 24. He shall make the woman drink the bitter water that brings a curse, and this water that brings a curse and causes bitter suffering will enter her. Verse 25 says, the priest is to take from her hands the grain offering for jealousy, wave it before the Lord, and bring it to the altar. Verse 26. The Lord, wait a minute, never mind. The priest is then to take a handful of the grain offering as a memorial offering and burn it on the altar. After that, he is to have the woman drink the water. Verse 27 now says, if she has made herself impure and been unfaithful to her husband, this will be the result. When she is made to drink the water that brings a curse and causes bitter suffering, it will enter her, and her abdomen will swell and her womb will miscarry, and she will become a curse. Now, 28 is going to say, if, however, the woman has not made herself impure, but is clean, she will be clear of guilt and will be able to have children. This then is the law of jealousy, when a woman goes astray and makes herself impure while married to her husband. Verse 30 says, or when feelings of jealousy come over a man because he suspects his wife. The priest is to have her stand before the Lord and is to apply this entire law to her. Verse 31 says, which is the last verse of chapter 5, the husband will be innocent of any wrongdoing, but the woman will bear the consequences of her sin. So, we get a context for 31. When it says, woman will bear the consequences, it says these words this time. Throughout the Bible, God compares idolatry with marital unfaithfulness. So it is clear that this is a subject that touches close to the heart of every man and woman. God is faithful to his people, and they are to be true to him. In the same way, as a daily picture of this faithfulness, the husband and wife are to be true and faithful to each other. That's right. The law recognizes the volatility of unfaithfulness, provides a limit to unjust accusations, and underlines the seriousness of the moral lapse that comes with adultery. A guilty woman would indeed bear her guilt, but a faithful woman would be exonerated. Okay? So that was chapter 5, verses 11 through 31. Hope you enjoyed. May the God of all bless you today, in your morning, or in your night, in your morning, and your day. Have a blessed week and weekend, everybody. This is from Truett, Turk. Peace out. I love you all. And God bless you.